Hey fellas, welcome back. It's been a little while since my last video. I've been working on a couple projects of my own. I built the 1/18 scale Pegasus Hobbies X1 and got it hanging from my ceiling. It's a pretty crappy kit. It's kind of toyish, so but I got that done. I got a couple of 1/48 scale projects done. I did a tank, and those are in my display cases. But now I am working on the Tamiya's 1/48 scale F14D Tomcat, and I had built the F14A, and it was the best kit I've ever put together, best engineered kit. And this one is no different. I'm going to build this one to probably sell on eBay. I need some, take a look at it. I've been working on it for a couple days and it's going together really well. But I haven't quite decided how I'm going to display it. I know I'm going to do it in flight. And one of the only issues with this kit that I've found is that they don't give you an option to build it with the gear up. And it's kind of wonky to close up the gear bays, but I get it. I got it done. It's not perfect, but it'll do. A little bit of filler here and there, but other than that, it's an awesome kit. But the reason for this video is, oh, and I'm gonna make a video on how I paint F14 Tomcats too. There's a lot of videos out there on painting F14s, and I've watched most of them, and I've kind of come up with my own little way of how I paint and weather F14 Tomcats, and I figured that'd make a good video since I haven't put any out for a while. But this one's kind of a redo of a video I did when I first started posting videos. It's attaching bombs and missiles to the pylons with neodymium magnets. And the reason I'm redoing it is because when I filmed it the first time, the camera angle was really wonky, and Will Pattison had sent me a message and told me said it was a good video, but the camera angle was really disorienting, and I agree with him on that. And there's a couple other videos I'm going to redo, like how I package and ship scaled models, just because the one I did initially was kind of long. I'll probably cut that down to about half the time. But I'm going to redo this one, hopefully with a better camera angle, and show you how I attach bombs and missiles to pylons with neodymium magnets. All right. Hopefully this camera angle is a little better. What I've got here is I've got some different size neodymium magnets. You can get these on eBay. They're really cheap. I think this is a 2mm by 1mm magnet. I've got some other ones that are like 2x2 and some 2x3. Since this is a 1/48 scale kit, it's a little more difficult. You have to be a little more precise with the with how you do it, and obviously I'm going to use the smallest magnets possible. So what I've got here, and this kit only comes with 2 Phoenix missiles, which was kind of disappointing. They've got some other bombs. I'm just going to put the Phoenix missiles on this one. So I've got the pylons, and what you typically would do is just glue the Phoenix missiles on these little posts here. And this makes it pretty easy to attach the magnets, because I've already got the places marked where the missiles are going to go. So first, what I'm going to start off doing is cutting off these little knobs, and this is where my magnet's going to go. Get that cut off. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get a little drill bit and try to find the exact center on here, just to start off, so I can have a starter hole. Okay. And I think I will probably use, since this is pretty deep, I can use a bigger magnet. So what I'm going to do is pull out my 2x2 millimeter magnets to put in here. So let me get my marker out. And when I start off, since this is my first, the first magnets I'm going to put in, I'm just going to mark one end, and that's going to tell me which end is going to be up. Because you have different polarities, you got a positive and negative. I think I'm not exactly sure all the nomenclature used on magnetic science, but you've got one end which is the positive and one end which is the negative, and they attract. So you gotta make sure when you're doing this that you reverse the polarities. So let's see, this end will not attract. Okay. So when I put my magnet into my missile, I want them to attract. So I'm going to want this end facing up and this end facing out of my missile. Okay. So I start off by making my initial holes, or my starter holes, and then I take a drill bit that is the same diameter or just a little bit bigger than my magnet. And you can check by pulling it out, taking the end and putting it up against a magnet, but I know this is the one I normally use. So I'm going to do is I'm going to drill through, and this one I can actually drill all the way through if I want. With the missiles, you don't typically want to drill all the way through, but because I'm using the bigger magnets, I can just bore a hole through this part all the way through, and it's not going to matter. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the other one, because when you do this, you want the polarities on your pylons and your missiles to be the same, so you don't have to try to find out which missile goes where. Because if I put these magnets in this way and then I put them in the opposite way on the other one, then this missile isn't going to stick to this one, or vice versa. So I want to keep them all the same. So let's do my starter hole. And the reason I do this, especially if I plan to sell a model and ship it, this is much easier than trying to pin it or gluing it on. And when you pin them or you glue them on, what happens is the missiles have a tendency to fall off. Well, this way, when I ship it, I can just remove the missiles, and the new owner, all they have to do is toss it on there, and they can pull it off and arrange the missiles how they want, and then they're not going to get broken off. So let's use, yikes, my magnet's stuck together. here. All right, I'm going to use, let's see, this Flexi 5KCA. I found that it works the best with metal stuff. You can use any type of super glue, but I would recommend using a thicker viscosity super glue, because what I found is the way I do this is when you dip these magnets, and you'll see in a second, when you dip these in here, okay, yeah, that's what I want. When you dip these in here, super thin CA will wick up and then glue the rest of your magnets together. But if you use a thicker viscosity, they won't do that. So basically what I do is I got my end that's marked up here, and this is how I'm going to put all of these in. Is I'm going to dip just the tip. Might get a little too much into my CA, and then I'm going to put it in the hole and try to get it flush, just like that. I'm going to do the same for this one. Get a little much on there. Okay, just like that. Now I'm keeping this end up because I want to keep them all the same. Yikes. A bit more. Had too much coffee this morning, I'm shaking. Stick it in there. Push it down, try to get it as flush as possible. Make sure I'm still got my end up that I want. Okay. I've got these two done. Now what I need to do is drill out holes in the missile. And this has these indented notches. And what I've done is I've kind of carved out the center. I don't know if you can see this. Because these notches are indented, I kind of put a little notch right in the middle. So that way, when I stick my drill bit in here, it doesn't wiggle around. Because you got to go slow with this, because what tends to happen when you got these notches is your drill bit kind of moves. But if I got these in here, hopefully that'll keep it from moving, but you do have to kind of go slow. And it's somewhat difficult. Now this one, I'm gonna bore out just enough where my magnet will fit. And not go all the way through. Now I'm going to want my magnet to stick up out of this just a little bit. That's going to be too deep, so let's get the 1mm by 2mm out. And that should fit in there perfectly, as long as I have them sticking out just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to have to check the polarity to make sure I get it the right side up. Okay. So this side is sticking, this side won't. So this is the end that I want sticking out. So I'm going to mark this end with my marker. Okay. Gonna do the same thing with this missile. Try to get it in there perpendicular as possible. Set it in there, let the glue take hold. Slide it off. Okay. Now I've got my magnets on there, and hopefully the missile will stick. And there we go. Perfect. I'll do the other one. You can see this doesn't take a whole lot of time. Once you get used to doing it, it's actually pretty simple. And it's a lot better than using glue or trying to use pins, in my humble opinion. If you don't have these notches, you just have to find a point, 2 points on the missile and 2 points on the pylon to attach these. Okay, I should still have my, so this is the end that I want up. Dip it in my glue. Okay, it's as simple as that. And that one fits as well. And they'll both fit on there. This one will fit on either one. And I'm going to repeat this and do it for these other pylons as well. And that's how you do it. That's how you attach neodymium magnets to the pylons. Hey. Alright, that's it for this one. I made it a little bit shorter. Hopefully the camera angle was better. I'm gonna be, my next video, I'll probably be coming out with in a couple days, is on how I paint the Tomcat, so stay tuned. I'll see you later.